The vast expanse of the Milky Way galaxy was alive with activity as hundreds of human colonies and settlements flourished across its star-studded canvas. For centuries, humanity had spread its wings, venturing out from its ancestral homeworld of Earth to stake its claim among the stars. But on this day, a great disturbance rippled through the interconnected web of human colonies. A urgent, encrypted transmission was beamed across the galaxy, bearing the unmistakable seal of the Galactic Empire, the dominant political and military power that had long held sway over the known universe. In the bustling command center of the Terran Confederacy, the highest-ranking officers gathered anxiously around the holographic display as the message unfolded. The image of a stern-faced galactic counselor materialized, her piercing gaze sweeping across the room. "Attention, all human colonies and settlements," the counselor's voice boomed with a tone of grave authority. "This is a direct order from the Galactic Empire. You are to cease all attempts to contact or travel to the planet Earth, effective immediately." The officers exchanged bewildered glances, their brows furrowed with confusion. Earth, humanity's long-lost homeworld, had been off-limits for generations, a distant, forbidden legend passed down through the ages. What could have prompted this sudden, urgent warning? Violation of this directive will be met with the full force of the Galactic Empire's military might. The counselor continued, her words laced with a tangible threat. "Humans, stay away from Earth at all costs. This is not a request, but a command." And with that, the transmission abruptly cut out, leaving the room in stunned silence. Captain Ava Riggs, the seasoned commander of the Terran Confederacy's flagship, straightened her shoulders and turned to her officers. "You heard the counselor," she said, her voice steady and resolute. "Prepare a priority subspace transmission to all colonial outposts. Relay the Galactic Empire's warning verbatim, and stress the severity of the consequences for disobedience." As the officers rushed to carry out her orders, Ava's mind raced with 1,000 unanswered questions. What darkness lurked on Earth that the Galactic Empire was so desperate to conceal? And why had they singled out humanity, of all sentient species, with this dire warning? The answers, she knew, would not come easily. But one thing was certain: the Galactic Empire's ominous message had ignited a spark of defiance within the human colonies, a spark that would not be easily extinguished. In the far-flung corners of the galaxy, the news of the Galactic Empire's warning spread like wildfire. Whispers and rumors swirled, fueling the already simmering tensions between humanity and its overlords. For generations, the human colonies had chafed under the Galactic Empire's heavy-handed rule, forced to adhere to a strict set of laws and regulations that often seemed to serve the interests of the ruling elite rather than the common people. Now, with the sudden and unexplained prohibition on approaching Earth, the simmering discontent threatened to boil over. Protests erupted on numerous colony worlds as citizens demanded answers and challenged the Galactic Empire's authority. "What are they hiding on Earth?" cried the fiery-eyed demonstrators, their fists raised defiantly. "Why do they fear our return to our ancestral homeworld?" The Galactic Empire, unaccustomed to such open defiance, responded with a swift and heavy-handed crackdown. Legions of heavily armed stormtroopers descended upon the colonies, quelling the unrest through a combination of intimidation and force. Communication channels were restricted, and the flow of information was tightly controlled, as the ruling council in the heart of the Galactic Empire fought to maintain its grip on the increasingly restless human populace. But even as the Galactic Empire sought to quell the rising tide of dissent, a new and dangerous spark had been ignited, a spark that threatened to engulf the very foundations of the galactic order. On the isolated colony world of Andorra Prime, a group of defiant human settlers huddled around a flickering holographic display, their faces etched with a mix of fear and determination. "The Galactic Empire thinks they can just order us around like mindless drones," spat Kiratran, the charismatic leader of the Andorra Prime settlers. "Well, I say it's time we show them that we won't go down without a fight." The others nodded in agreement, their eyes gleaming with a dangerous resolve. For years, they had chafed under the heavy-handed rule of the Galactic Empire, their pleas for autonomy and self-governance falling on deaf ears. Now, with the Empire's ominous warning about Earth echoing across the colony, they saw an opportunity to strike a blow for their freedom. "We all know the risks," Kyra continued, her voice unwavering. "The Empire will come after us with everything they've got. But I, for one, am not about to let them stop us from uncovering the truth about our homeworld." The settlers exchanged nervous glances, their brows furrowed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. They had heard the stories, passed down through the generations. Tales of a lush, vibrant world teeming with life, a world that had once been the cradle of humanity. And now, with the Empire's warning, their curiosity had been piqued to the breaking point. "We have to try," one of the settlers, a young engineer named Liam, spoke up. "If there's even a chance that Earth holds the answers we've been searching for, we can't just sit back and let the Empire keep us in the dark." Kyra nodded, a grim smile spreading across her face. Then it settled. "We'll take the Valkyrie, my heavily modified transport ship, and plot a course for Earth. We'll show the Galactic Empire that they can't keep us from our ancestral home." As the settlers began to make their preparations, the air crackled with a palpable sense of excitement and trepidation. They knew that what they were about to do was not only dangerous, but also a direct challenge to the might of the Galactic Empire. But the lure of uncovering the truth about their origins was simply too powerful to ignore. Days later, the Valkyrie slipped silently away from the Andorra Prime colony, its engines humming with a newfound determination. Kyra stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the distant stars, as the ship plunged into the inky blackness of space. The journey would be long and perilous, fraught with the constant threat of detection and pursuit by the Galactic Empire's formidable military forces. But the settlers were undaunted, their resolve hardened by the knowledge that they were embarking on a quest that could change the course of human history. As the Valkyrie hurtled through the void, Kyra couldn't help but feel a twinge of apprehension. What if the Galactic Empire's warning was more than just an empty threat? What if the darkness they feared on Earth was something truly catastrophic, something that even the mighty Empire dared not confront? But the lure of the unknown was too strong to resist. The settlers had made their choice, and there was no turning back. They would face whatever challenges awaited them on Earth, no matter the cost. For deep within the recesses of their collective consciousness, a spark had been ignited, a spark that threatened to burn the very foundations of the Galactic Empire to the ground. The Valkyrie, Kyra's heavily modified transport ship, streaked through the vast expanse of space, its engines pushing the limits of their capabilities. The rogue human colonists from Andorra Prime were acutely aware that they were racing against time, with the Galactic Empire's formidable forces undoubtedly scouring the galaxy in search of their trail. As the ship's sensors detected the familiar blue-green orb of Earth in the distance, the colonists gathered on the bridge, their hearts pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "There it is," Kyra whispered, her eyes fixed on the distant planet. "Our ancestral home, the cradle of humanity." The others murmured in awe, their gazes scanning the planet's surface for any sign of the devastation and ruin they had been led to expect. But as the Valkyrie drew closer, they were confronted with a sight that left them utterly bewildered. Instead of the lifeless, barren landscape they had envisioned, Earth was teeming with life. Verdant continents, shimmering oceans, and towering cities that seemed to defy the passage of time. "This is impossible," Liam, the young engineer, breathed. "The Galactic Empire told us Earth was a dead, uninhabitable world. But this," he gestured helplessly at the sight before them. Kyra's brow furrowed as she studied the planet's surface, her mind racing with 1,000 questions. Something doesn't add up. If Earth is still thriving, then why would the Empire forbid us from coming here? The colonists exchanged uneasy glances, their earlier excitement giving way to a growing sense of unease. It was clear that the Galactic Empire had been hiding something from them, something that could profoundly challenge the very foundations of their society. Steeling her resolve, Kyra turned to her crew. "Prepare the landing craft. We're going down there to find out the truth, no matter the cost." As the small shuttle descended towards the planet's surface, the colonists peered out of the viewports, their eyes widening at the sight of the bustling cities and the strange, alien architectures that dotted the landscape. "There are other civilizations here," Liam murmured, his voice tinged with awe and trepidation. "The Galactic Empire never mentioned anything about this." Kyra nodded, her expression grim. "They've been keeping secrets from us, and we're going to uncover them, one way or another." The shuttle touched down amidst a sprawling metropolis, its sleek, towering spires reaching for the sky. As the colonists emerged, they were greeted by a sight that left them both fascinated and unsettled: strange, humanoid beings with features that defied their expectations, going about their daily lives in a seamless, harmonious flow. "Who are these people?" One of the colonists, a young woman named Nia, whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Kyra shook her head, her lips pressed into a thin line. "I don't know, but we're going to find out. Spread out, but stay alert. We can't afford to be caught off guard." The colonists fanned out, their senses heightened as they navigated the unfamiliar streets, their gaze constantly scanning for any sign of danger. But as they delved deeper into the city, they began to uncover clues and artifacts that hinted at a far more complex and ancient history than they could have ever imagined. Buried beneath the sleek, modern structures, they found remnants of structures that appeared to be of human origin, their design and craftsmanship eerily familiar. And the more they explored, the more they realized that the truth they were about to uncover could shatter the very foundations of the Galactic Empire's power. As the colonists began to piece together the fragments of this hidden history, a growing sense of unease settled over them. They had come to Earth in search of answers, but what they had found threatened to unravel the very fabric of their understanding of their own past and their place in the galaxy. And they knew that the Galactic Empire, with its iron grip on the flow of information and its unwavering control over the human colonies, would stop at nothing to keep these secrets buried forever. The news of the rogue human colonists' arrival on Earth spread like wildfire through the vast communication networks of the Galactic Empire, triggering a flurry of activity in the heart of the ruling council's chambers. Counselor Elena Theron, the stern-faced emissary who had delivered the initial warning to the human colonies, paced the ornate war room, her brow furrowed in a deep scowl. "Unacceptable," she spat, her gaze sweeping across the holographic display that depicted the location of the colonist shuttle on the surface of Earth. "The rebels have defied our direct order. Prepare our most formidable forces for immediate deployment." The other counselors exchanged uneasy glances, their eyes betraying a hint of trepidation. "But, Counselor, the risk of open conflict with the human colonies," one of them began, only to be silenced by Theron's icy stare. "The risk of allowing them to uncover the truth about Earth is far greater," she retorted, her voice laced with a tangible threat. "We cannot afford to let this insurrection spread. Mobilize the 7th Fleet and dispatch our elite stormtroopers. I want those colonists eliminated, and I want it done swiftly." Across the galaxy, the Galactic Empire's military machine roared to life, as legions of heavily armed warships and highly trained soldiers were dispatched to the Forbidden Planet. The colonists from Andorra Prime, their initial excitement quickly giving way to a growing sense of dread, found themselves frantically fortifying their position and preparing for the inevitable confrontation. "They're coming for us," Kyra grimly informed her crew, her eyes fixed on the distant horizon, where the first signs of the Galactic Empire's forces were beginning to emerge. "We need to be ready." The colonists sprang into action, drawing upon their collective skills and resources to transform the small shuttle landing site into a makeshift fortress. They scavenged materials from the surrounding area, erecting hastily constructed barricades and setting up defensive positions, all the while keeping a wary eye on the alien civilizations that continued to go about their business, seemingly oblivious to the impending clash. As the first wave of Galactic Empire stormtroopers descended from their sleek, intimidating warships, the colonists braced themselves for the onslaught. Kyra, her face set in a determined expression, gripped her weapon tightly, her mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. "We knew the risks when we came here," she reminded her comrades, her voice steadying their nerves. "But we can't back down now. Not when we're so close to uncovering the truth." The stormtroopers advanced, their black armor gleaming in the alien sunlight, their blasters crackling with deadly energy. The colonists met their charge with a hail of return fire, their modified weapons cutting down the Imperial soldiers with surprising accuracy. But the Galactic Empire was not to be underestimated. As the initial attack was repelled, reinforcements poured in, their numbers swelling with each passing moment. The colonists, their resources dwindling and their resolve beginning to waver, found themselves in a desperate struggle for survival. Kira gritted her teeth, her mind racing with a desperate plan. "We can't hold them off forever," she shouted to her crew. "We need to find a way to even the odds, or we're all dead." As the battle raged on, the colonists caught glimpses of the alien civilizations that inhabited the bustling city, their strange, otherworldly features and advanced technology, igniting a spark of hope within them. Perhaps, just perhaps, they could find unexpected allies in this desperate fight against the might of the Galactic Empire. But time was running out, and the colonists knew that they were teetering on the edge of a precipice. The truth they had uncovered on Earth could change the course of history, but first, they had to survive the Galactic Empire's relentless onslaught. As the battle between the rogue human colonists and the Galactic Empire's elite forces raged on, Kyra and her crew found themselves in a desperate fight for survival. The overwhelming might of the Empire's military machine was slowly grinding down their meager defenses, and they knew that they couldn't hold out much longer. But amidst the chaos of the battle, Kyra caught sight of something that made her heart skip a beat. Embedded within the rubble of a nearby crumbling structure, she spotted the faint glimmer of an ancient alien artifact, a device that seemed to radiate a strange, pulsing energy. "Liam," she shouted, her eyes never leaving the artifact. "Get over here and take a look at this." The young engineer, his face streaked with grime and determination, scrambled to Kira's side, his eyes widening as he caught sight of the mysterious object. "What is it?" he asked, his fingers gently tracing the intricate markings etched into the artifact's surface. Kyra shook her head, her brow furrowed in concentration. "I'm not sure, but it looks older than anything I've ever seen. And the energy signature, it's unlike anything in the galactic databases." As the two of them studied the artifact, their minds racing with 1,000 questions, a sudden realization dawned on them. What if this device, and others like it, held the key to unraveling the Galactic Empire's long-held secrets about Earth and humanity's past? Kyra's expression hardened with determination. "We need to get this back to the shuttle, safely. If the Empire finds out what we've discovered, they'll stop at nothing to keep us from uncovering the truth." Liam nodded, his fingers gripping the artifact tightly. "I'll get a team together. We'll have to work fast, though. The Empire's forces are closing in." As the colonists scrambled to secure the ancient artifact, they began to uncover more clues and remnants of the planet's hidden history. Buried beneath the surface, they found the crumbling ruins of vast, advanced structures that bore an uncanny resemblance to the architecture they had seen in the bustling city above. "These aren't just remnants of past civilizations," Kyra murmured, her eyes scanning the intricate designs and symbols etched into the weathered stone. "This is something else entirely, something that predates even the Galactic Empire's reign." The colonists exchanged uneasy glances, their minds racing with the implications of this discovery. If the Galactic Empire had been hiding the truth about Earth and humanity's origins all along, what else were they keeping from the rest of the galaxy? As the team carefully transported the artifacts back to the safety of the Valkyrie, they worked tirelessly to decipher the wealth of information they had uncovered. Scouring ancient databases and decrypting long-forgotten records, They pieced together a stunning narrative that challenged everything they had been taught about their place in the cosmos. The Galactic Empire, it seemed, had been founded on a foundation of lies and deception, with the ruling council going to great lengths to conceal the true history of humanity and its connection to the planet Earth. "They've been lying to us all along," Kyra breathed, her eyes wide with a mixture of shock and outrage. "Earth was never a dead, uninhabitable world. It was our home, the cradle of our species, and the Galactic Empire has been keeping us away from it for centuries." As the full weight of their discovery settled upon the colonists, they knew that they were in possession of knowledge that could shatter the very foundations of the galactic order. And with the Empire's relentless forces closing in, they would have to act quickly, before the truth was buried forever. The fate of humanity, it seemed, hung in the balance, and the colonists were the only ones who held the key to unlocking the mystery that had been hidden from them for generations. As the rogue human colonists from Andorra Prime fought to defend their newfound discoveries on Earth, the shockwaves of their findings began to reverberate across the vast communication networks of the Galactic Empire. Deep within the towering spires of the ruling council's headquarters, Counselor Elena Theron paced the ornate war room, her brow furrowed in a mixture of anger and thinly veiled panic. "The colonists have uncovered evidence of our deception," she hissed, her steely gaze fixed on the holographic display that relayed the latest updates from the front lines. "We cannot allow this knowledge to spread any further." The other counselors exchanged uneasy glances, their expressions betraying a growing sense of unease. For generations, the Galactic Empire had carefully guarded the secrets about Earth and humanity's true origins, going to great lengths to suppress any information that threatened to undermine their authority. "But, Counselor, the colonists have already sent out transmissions." One of the counselors, a wizened old man, spoke up. "The truth is starting to spread, and we're losing control of the narrative." Theron's eyes narrowed dangerously. "Then we must move quickly to contain the damage. Dispatch additional forces to Earth and order them to eliminate the colonists and destroy any evidence they've uncovered. I will not allow our grip on the galaxy to be shaken by a handful of defiant rebels." As the Galactic Empire's military machine roared back into action, the news of the colonists' discoveries began to ripple through the far-flung human colonies and settlements, igniting a wave of unrest and dissent. In the bustling streets of the Terran Confederacy's capital, crowds of protesters gathered, their voices rising in a chorus of outrage. "The Galactic Empire has been lying to us," they chanted, their fists raised defiantly. "Earth is our homeworld, and they've kept us from it for centuries." Captain Ava Riggs, the seasoned commander of the Terran Confederacy's flagship, watched the demonstrations with a growing sense of unease. She had always been loyal to the Galactic Empire, but the revelations from Earth had shaken her faith in the ruling council's motives. "Something's not right," she murmured, her gaze fixed on the swelling crowds. "If what the colonists are saying is true, then the Empire has been deceiving us all along." Riggs made a snap decision, her mind racing with the implications of the unfolding crisis. "Prepare a priority transmission to all colonial outposts. We need to get this information out there before the Empire can bury it for good." As the Terran Confederacy's communication channels buzzed with the news of the colonists' discoveries, the ripple effect spread across the galaxy, igniting a groundswell of unrest and dissent that threatened to topple the very foundations of the Galactic Empire's rule. In the remote corners of the cosmos, human colonists and settlements alike erupted in protests, their long-simmering resentment towards the galactic overlords finally boiling over. "They've kept us from our homeworld," they cried, their voices echoing through the void. "We demand the truth, and we demand our rightful place among the stars." The Galactic Empire, unaccustomed to such open defiance, responded with a heavy-handed crackdown, dispatching legions of stormtroopers to quell the growing unrest. But the more they tried to suppress the flow of information, the more the flames of rebellion seemed to flare. As the conspiracy unraveled, the ruling council found itself in a precarious position. The colonists' findings had the potential to shatter the very legitimacy of the Galactic Empire, exposing the lies and deception that had underpinned their rule for generations. Counselor Theron, her once steely composure crumbling, turned to her fellow counselors with a desperate plea. "We must act before this insurrection spreads beyond our control," she declared, her voice laced with a tangible fear. "The fate of the Galactic Empire hangs in the balance. We cannot allow the truth about Earth to be revealed, no matter the cost." The counselors exchanged uneasy glances, their expressions betraying a growing sense of uncertainty. The empire they had sworn to uphold was teetering on the edge of collapse, and they knew that the decisions they made in the coming days would shape the course of history for generations to come. The skies above Earth were ablaze with the fury of a desperate last-stand battle. The row human colonists, their ranks bolstered by unexpected allies from among the planet's diverse alien civilizations, fought with a fierce determination that defied the overwhelming might of the Galactic Empire's military forces. Kyra, her face set in a grim expression, gripped the controls of the Valkyrie as the ship dodged a hail of enemy fire. Beside her, Liam frantically worked the sensors, his eyes scanning for any weaknesses in the Imperial Armada's defenses. "We're outnumbered and outgunned, Kyra," he shouted, his voice barely audible over the cacophony of explosions and weapons fire. "I don't know how much longer we can hold out." Kyra's jaw tightened, her mind racing with a desperate plan. "Then it's time we showed the Galactic Empire the true power of Earth. Patch me through to our allies on the ground. We're going to need their help if we're going to survive this." As the Valkyrie maneuvered through the chaotic battlefield, Kyra's voice crackled over the communication channels, rallying the scattered forces of Earth's defenders. "This is our moment," she declared, her words infused with a steely resolve. "The Galactic Empire has kept us from our homeworld for too long. Now it's time we took back what is rightfully ours." Across the planet, the diverse array of alien civilizations that had once lived in relative isolation suddenly came together, their advanced technologies and formidable combat skills uniting in a remarkable display of unity and determination. Towering, sentient machines erupted from their hidden sanctuaries, their limbs bristling with devastating energy weapons. Swarms of sleek, agile fighters soared through the skies, their pilots' commands coordinated with a level of precision that confounded the Galactic Empire's seasoned commanders. And at the heart of it all, the human colonists fought with a ferocity that defied their apparent technological and numerical disadvantage. Kyra and her crew, their modified shuttle transformed into a nimble, maneuverable strike craft, darted through the chaos, unleashing devastating barrages of firepower against the Imperial warships. "The tide is turning," Liam exclaimed, his eyes widening as he watched the Galactic Empire's forces begin to falter under the onslaught. "They're not prepared for the full power of Earth's defenders." Kyra's lips curled into a triumphant grin. "Then let's show them just how much they've underestimated us. Full throttle, Liam. Let's take the fight to the heart of the Imperial fleet." The Valkyrie surged forward, its engines roaring as it carved a path through the beleaguered enemy ships. Kyra's fingers danced across the controls, her every maneuver calculated to maximize the shuttle's agility and firepower. Below, the alien civilizations of Earth unleashed their full arsenal, their advanced technologies and formidable combat skills, overwhelming the Galactic Empire's disciplined but rigid military tactics. Amidst the chaos, the human colonists fought with a renewed sense of purpose, their knowledge of the planet's hidden secrets proving to be a crucial advantage. They directed their allies to key strategic locations, guiding them to ancient, long-dormant structures that had once been the foundation of humanity's technological power. As these forgotten bastions of knowledge were reactivated, the tide of the battle shifted dramatically. Powerful energy beams lanced through the Imperial warships, their shields crumbling under the relentless assault. Crippling electromagnetic pulses disrupted the communications and targeting systems of the stormtroopers, leaving them vulnerable to the coordinated counterattack. The Galactic Empire, once the unquestioned masters of the galaxy, found itself pushed to the brink of defeat, its vaunted military might unable to withstand the united forces of Earth's defenders. Kyra, her eyes blazing with triumph, watched as the last of the Imperial warships retreated, their retreat a tacit admission of their failure to subjugate the planet and its inhabitants. "We did it," she breathed, her voice tinged with a mixture of disbelief and exhilaration. "We've taken the first step towards reclaiming our homeworld and our rightful place in the galaxy." But as the dust settled, Kyra knew that the true battle had only just begun. The Galactic Empire, stripped of its invincible aura, would not concede defeat so easily, and the fate of Earth and the future of humanity hung precariously in the balance. The battle for Earth had been won, but the war for the future of humanity was far from over. As the smoke cleared and the last of the Galactic Empire's forces retreated, Kyra and the rogue human colonists, along with their newfound alien allies, stood united on the surface of their ancestral homeworld, their resolve hardened by the hard-won victory. Yet, even as the colonists celebrated their triumph, they knew that the true test was still to come. The Galactic Empire, stripped of its invincible aura, would not simply accept defeat and concede its grip on the galaxy. The ruling council, reeling from the revelations about Earth and the lies that had sustained their power for generations, would undoubtedly seek to retaliate with every resource at their disposal. Kyra, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon, turned to her comrades, her expression grim but resolute. "The Galactic Empire will not surrender without a fight," she said, her voice carrying a weight that belied her years. "We've dealt them a devastating blow, but they still hold the reins of power across the galaxy. If we're to secure Earth's freedom and the future of humanity, we'll have to confront them directly." The colonists exchanged uneasy glances, their elation from the recent victory tempered by the daunting task that lay ahead. They had risked everything to uncover the truth about their homeworld, and now they found themselves at the precipice of a galactic reckoning that threatened to reshape the very foundations of the known universe. "What are our next steps, then?" Liam asked, his brow furrowed in thought. "We can't just march on the Empire's capital and expect them to hand over control. They'll come at us with everything they've got." Kyra nodded, her mind racing with a plan. "We need to leverage the information we've uncovered to expose the Galactic Empire's lies and deception to the rest of the galaxy. If we can turn the tide of public opinion against them, it may weaken their grip on power and force them to the negotiating table." The colonists murmured in agreement, their eyes alight with a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that the path ahead would be arduous, but the prospect of finally reclaiming their rightful place among the stars was too enticing to ignore. Kyra's gaze swept across the diverse group of human and alien defenders who had fought alongside them, a faint smile tugging at the corners of her lips. "We'll need allies, powerful ones, who are willing to stand with us against the Galactic Empire's tyranny. The truth we've uncovered is not just about our past, but about the future of the entire galaxy, and we can't face that challenge alone." As the colonists began to make preparations for the diplomatic and strategic challenges that lay ahead, the news of their victory on Earth spread like wildfire across the galactic communication networks. In the heart of the Galactic Empire's capital, the ruling council convened in a state of unparalleled turmoil, their once iron grip on power slipping through their fingers. Councillor Elena Theron, her face etched with a mixture of rage and desperation, paced the ornate war room, her mind racing with 1,000 contingency plans. "We cannot allow this insurrection to gain any more traction," she hissed, her steely gaze fixing on the other councillors. "The colonists and their allies must be stopped at all costs, before the truth about Earth becomes known to the rest of the galaxy." But even as Theron barked out her orders, a growing sense of unease began to permeate the halls of the Galactic Empire's seat of power. The revelations from Earth had shaken the very foundations of their authority, and the councillors found themselves grappling with the uncomfortable realization that the legitimacy of their rule was crumbling. Tensions within the council erupted into open discord, as factions vied for control and jockeyed for position in the face of the impending crisis. The once unified front of the Galactic Empire was splintering, and the colonists on Earth knew that this was their chance to seize the initiative and force a reckoning with their oppressors. The fate of humanity and the future of the entire galactic order hung in the balance as the two sides prepared to clash in a battle of wits, diplomacy, and, if necessary, open confrontation. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome would determine the course of history for generations to come. The Galactic Empire, once the undisputed power that had reigned over the known universe for generations, found itself teetering on the precipice of collapse. The revelations from Earth, uncovered by the rogue human colonists, had shattered the very foundations of the galactic order, exposing the lies and deception that had long sustained the ruling council's grip on power. In the aftermath of the decisive battle for Earth's freedom, Kyra and her comrades, along with their newfound alien allies, embarked on a diplomatic offensive that would test the limits of their resolve and their strategic acumen. Across the galaxy, the ripple effects of the colonists' victory had ignited a wave of unrest and defiance among the human settlements and colonies that had long chafed under the Galactic Empire's heavy-handed rule. Protests erupted, demands for autonomy and self-governance echoed through the void, and the once unassailable authority of the ruling council began to crumble. Sensing the shifting tides, Kyra and her team worked tirelessly to consolidate their newfound allies, forging a coalition of diverse alien civilizations and disgruntled human factions that were united in their desire to reshape the galactic order. "The Galactic Empire has kept us in the dark for far too long," Kyra declared, her voice carrying a weight that belied her years. "Now it's time we take our rightful place among the stars, as equals, not as subjects to be ruled over." The Galactic Council, their once impregnable power structure now in a state of disarray, found themselves cornered and forced to the negotiating table. Councillor Elena Theron, her steely composure cracking under the relentless pressure, faced off against the coalition of colonists and their allies, her demands for unconditional surrender met with an unwavering refusal. "The truth about Earth and humanity's past is out, Councillor," Kyra said, her gaze unwavering. "You can no longer hide behind your lies and deception. The time has come for the Galactic Empire to reckon with its sins and make amends." Theron's lips pressed into a thin line, her eyes narrowing with a mixture of fury and resignation. She knew that the Empire's grip on power was slipping, and that concessions would have to be made if they were to salvage any semblance of control over the galactic landscape. After weeks of tense negotiations, punctuated by occasional outbursts of violence, as hardliners within the Empire refused to yield, a historic agreement was reached. Earth would be formally recognized as the rightful homeworld of humanity, and the Galactic Empire would cede a significant portion of its authority to a newly formed Galactic Alliance, a governing body that would encompass representatives from both human and alien civilizations. Kyra, standing alongside her fellow colonists and their alien allies, watched with a mixture of pride and relief as the Galactic Empire's flag was lowered, replaced by the symbol of the Galactic Alliance. The weight of their victory was palpable, a testament to the sacrifices they had made and the determination that had driven them forward. "We've come a long way," Liam said, his voice tinged with awe. "Who would have thought that a handful of rogue colonists could take down the mighty Galactic Empire?" Kyra smiled, her gaze sweeping across the diverse gathering of beings who had once been their sworn enemies, but now stood as partners in the pursuit of a more just and equitable galactic order. "It wasn't just us, Liam," she said, her voice soft but resolute. "It was the power of unity, of standing together against oppression and injustice. This is just the beginning of a new era, one where humanity and our allies can forge our own destiny, free from the shackles of the past." As the Galactic Alliance took its first steps towards shaping a brighter future, Kyra and her fellow colonists found themselves thrust into the role of ambassadors and leaders, their experiences and discoveries on Earth becoming the foundation for a radical transformation of the galactic landscape. The once forbidden planet, long hidden from the rest of the galaxy, was now reclaimed as the rightful home of humanity, a symbol of the resilience and determination that had carried them through their darkest hour. And as the colonists looked towards the distant stars, their eyes gleaming with a newfound sense of purpose, they knew that the journey they had embarked upon was far from over. The challenges that lay ahead would be daunting, but with the truth of their past as their guide, they were ready to take their rightful place among the stars, shaping a galactic future that would echo through the ages.